Hello, it's Brenda. It's been a hot minute, but I have had construction going on for about 2 weeks in my house. Apparently this is what you look like. I don't know what's going on here when you have construction going on and you have 3 children to take care of, but wanted to get this video out because it is weighing on my mind and on my heart. If you are a friend of Gabby Petito or a relative or a friend of the family, I would suggest that you exit from the video, only because at this time I don't think it's going to do anything to serve you emotionally. It's going to be kind of an unpopular opinion, I think. More like playing devil's advocate, opening up a discussion, maybe some food for thought. So if you have clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you already know the case of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. I guess we could do a super quick summary, super quick. Basically, they are a very young, attractive couple who decided that they were going to live the van life and go cross-country living out of their van. This was something that Gabby intended to blog on social media, and at some point the trip seems to have become very stressful, as I can imagine being cooped up in a van would be. I've done a 24-hour road trip before, and I pretty much didn't like anybody by the end of that trip that I was in the car with. So I can imagine the tensions would rise. At some point, Brian returned to his parents' home in Florida, but without Gabby, and he returned in her car. So obviously, her parents reported her missing, and Brian managed to just kind of take off in the midst of all of this, which has, led to some unfavorable opinions about maybe why police weren't keeping a closer eye on him. But, at that time, he was a person of interest, but I don't even think he was necessarily a suspect because they hadn't found her body as of that point, and she is an adult. So, you know how that goes. If an adult is missing, it's kind of hard right off the bat to say that it's foul play. I would say it was super weird, if her boyfriend slash fiance rolls up in her car, from out of state and she's nowhere to be found, that would be pretty darn suspicious. But anyhow, he managed to take off and he is still missing. During the weeks that followed, her body was found and she was declared a homicide victim. So Brian is very much wanted at this point, but not for homicide. He is wanted for using a fraudulent credit card or debit card, which we can only assume would be Gabby's. That hasn't been said, but I think we can all kind of jump to that conclusion. Because if she was deceased and the card was active and Brian was using it, then we have a problem. Now, let's jump into the part that's probably going to be unpopular. Everybody is labeling Brian's parents the dirty Laundries. It is suspected that they know where he is and that they are refusing to disclose it. But even more, that perhaps they intentionally misled the public and law enforcement about when he left from their home and where he went. And there's a huge manhunt for him. We are talking law enforcement locally, FBI, Dog the Bounty Hunter, like everybody is looking for this person. And the parents are like, I don't know, he went to this reserve to go hiking and, he vanished and we don't know where he is. Many people obviously suspect that that is not the truth, that they know exactly where he is, or maybe not exactly at this point where he is if he's on the move, but that maybe they were not truthful about when he actually left, where he actually went, and where he may be now, and if anybody is helping him to stay on the run. I mean, think about how high profile this case is. Every poor, white balding man is, having his picture taken and thrown on social media like possible sighting, So, I mean, everybody is looking for him. If his parents know more than they're saying, what do we make of that? Well, according to popular outcry on social media, we would make it that they are evil people, that they are horrible people. Obviously, they knew Gabby very well. She lived with them. I've heard people say heartbreaking things like she ate at your table, she lived with you, you treated her and loved her like a daughter. How can you hide this person? And that is all fair. That is 1,000% fair. However, I'm afraid to even say this. I'm afraid people are gonna, like, I don't know, come through the computer screen and, just like throw things at me. It's his mom and dad. It's his mom and dad. Now, raise your hand if you have children. Raise your hand if you have a son. Raise your hand if you're a boy mom. It's intense in how strong that bond is. When they're really little, we do everything we can to protect them, and we do everything we can to put them on the right path. And if they did something rotten, like stole a piece of candy, we would try to put them on a moral path and, doing the right thing. We would probably take them back to the store and have them return it. We would have them apologize, whatever. As they get older, we continue to try to teach them right from wrong, how they should treat other people, the way that they want to be treated. What is the right thing to do? What is the wrong thing to do? What are the consequences of not doing the right thing? However, in our wildest dreams, as we are doing all of those things, we don't ever picture that there will be a day when, like Brian probably did, that they rush through that door and they tell us of the most horrific event that has happened, and that they now stand a chance of either going to prison for the rest of their life, I don't know, going to death row. Who knows if he said he was going to kill himself? Like, we don't know. We don't know what that conversation was like when he returned home, and we certainly don't know what he said to them. Did he say it was a horrible accident and now, like, I'm so scared? Did he say she did blah 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 and then, like, I snapped and I'm so scared? We don't know, and we certainly can't imagine what our feelings would be. And I had this conversation with my husband last night. He's actually in law enforcement, so I was probably not the right person to have the conversation with, but and he was like, oh, no, if that was my son, I would call the authorities right away. We would all like to think that we would, but would we? I don't know. Can you imagine that your son is standing in front of you? Just imagine this, okay? If you have a little one, picture him as a grown-up man. If you have a grown son, picture he's standing in front of you and he's like, this is what happened. I'm so scared. Like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, whatever he said to them. Help me, Mom. With everything in me, I would like to think that I would do the moral thing, that I would do the right thing. But would I? Or would the mom in me that, just wants to protect get such tunnel vision that I would, like, scoop him up and just be like, we'll figure it out, I'll help you, like, let's go, you can hide in the wilderness, like, I'll help you. I don't know, like, I can't imagine. We can't imagine what Gabby's family is going through, and by no means am what I'm saying about the Laundries, Am I even saying that right? Is it the Laundries or the Laundries? I mean, people say the dirty laundries, so that's why I keep saying that. We can't imagine what Gabby's family is feeling, and no person in the world should ever have to feel that, whatever it feels like. And we know that the probability that Brian is directly responsible for their pain is a pretty certain thing. However, we're going to put that on the shelf, because what I'm saying doesn't take away from that, but I'm just saying put yourself in their shoes for a second. And even if you're like, no way, no how, I would do the right thing, at least for a second, empathize this much to what they as parents were feeling. Just trapped in their own emotions, trapped in the memories of, you know, their little boy and everything that they, you know, dreamt of for his future, and the helplessness as he stood before them, probably crying, probably begging for help, probably telling them it was an accident, like who knows what he told them, and that he was going to be blamed for it, probably saying that, you know, he was so hopeless he would take his own life. Like, we don't know what was said in that home in Florida that day that caused these parents to take drastic measures to help him take off, if that's what they did, allegedly. I'm just saying that as much as I personally would like to think that I would do the moral thing in this situation, this is other part of me as a mom staring at my 3 young sons who are 5, 11, and 14 that just thinks they would have to kill me before they came for my son. I know that's the wrong thing. I know. But when I think about being in that situation, I just feel like looking at my son, you know, needing me, wanting my help, like wanting me to fix it. I can picture myself like going bonkers and doing some outrageous thing like they possibly did. I can see myself doing it, and that's scary, yes, but as a mom, I kind of get it. Sadly, horribly, immorally, but I kind of get it. And I don't think I'm an evil person. I don't think I'm a bad person, but a part of me can see me being like, if you want him, you're going through me. You're going to have to kill me to get him, you know? If in some irrational moment she thought that he was a victim, like maybe that it was just a horrible accident, but he was going to be, you know, he was going to be accused of her death, but it was really just an accident, you know, because who could picture their son doing something terrible on purpose? You know, did she just believe in him, or, you know, she had like mom goggles on, and so she thinks that she's, you know, saving him, helping him, protecting him? Like, does anybody see what I'm saying? Or am I a lunatic? Like, if you put in the comments like you're just actually a lunatic, I'll accept that, because probably I am. But if even one parent, especially a boy mom out there, can say like, no, I hear you, I kind of get it, you know, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. But can we lay off of them? Because even though I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges. I'm not trying to say like, oh, these poor people, and like disregard Gabby's parents, because that is just horrible, just so horrendous, the pain that they are going through. But for a second, if you can empathize with these parents, with a mom who is losing her son, because whether he, you know, goes to prison forever, she's losing all that we thought, all that we dreamt, all that we envisioned when you nursed him, when you signed him up for kindergarten, when you took him to baseball practice, like everything for his life that you assumed, wanted, and dreamt of, in a split second is gone. You know, if he's off living in the wilderness and you really think that that's going to last forever, which, come on, he's going to get caught at some point, but like in your irrational moment, if that is what you're thinking, come on, as a mom, like, how do you eat your dinner? How do you go to bed at night thinking like your son is like playing survivor out in the woods, you know, in a makeshift hut, and this is going to be his life forever? Or if you think that there's a possibility that he's going to take his own life, like, how do you function? You know, if you think that he may end up getting the death penalty for what he did, like, how do you get through that? Can we have like this much empathy for them? Like, I expect everyone else in the world to rat this man out. I expect everybody else in the world, you know, if you see him, call it in, you know, whatever. But to protest outside their house, to scream at them, to call them evil, to do all of these things when these are his parents, you can't put the same expectation on them, I guess is what I'm saying, the same mentality on them right now, because they're probably half nuts at this point from everything that they are also, you know, going through and trying to process, you know. I don't know. That's just some food for thought, just, you know what I mean? Just like something to think about, at least, you know, if maybe we need to tone it down with them and the hate and all of that, and at least give them a tiny bit of leeway on what we expect from them, you know. No, they shouldn't hinder the investigation, and I think they might have done that. You know, they may have sent everybody looking from here when maybe they knew he went there, like whatever, and I would think that's a crime. I don't know, but like, would you do it? Not would you do it, because I think we'd all say no. But if you like meditate and put yourself in that moment for a second, do you at least think that you could possibly like lose your mind enough in that moment to make that decision? Like, clearly, if I was just to like ask you right now, you'd probably be like, no. But if you really just sat and just put yourself there for a second, then look at your son. Look at your son and then put yourself there for a second. Can you at least see maybe how they went so far off track, you know, with their thinking and their actions? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm nuts and it's just me and I'm completely wacko to be empathizing at all, or tell me if you think that, yeah, maybe that makes a little bit of sense. Again, prayers are with Gabby's family, and this is in no way to disrespect them or to take away from what they're going through. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. And I'm sorry for this like god-awful lighting that's like making a ghost out of me, but my house is under construction, so I had to find like one little bare space where I could kind of sit without you looking at random boards and nails and tools and things. So have a great day. Give it a little bit of thought and let me know what you think. Okay? Bye.